The landscape of Hyrule and Tears of the Kingdom has been through a lot of drastic changes over the ages. For example, we know that several structures found on Sky Islands originally used to be located on the surface, before they were sent into the air due to Zelda and Mineru's plan to aid Link in the future. The most prominent of the structures being the Zonai's Temple of Time, which used to be situated on the Great Plateau exactly where the current Hylian Temple of Time now resides. Massive chunks of earth being torn from the land and sent far beyond the reach of man has not been the only thing that has impacted Hyrule's surface. Deep inside the Forgotten Temple, past the chamber that once held the secret stones, we come across a circular room that was built by the Hylians who picked up the pieces after their king Rauru successfully sealed away Ganondorf. After many years, the Hylians would discover the Light Dragon's tears and their associated glyphs that were scattered across the surface of Hyrule. This room is where they eventually documented those findings. Beneath the slabs that lie on top of a three-dimensional depiction of Hyrule, we can line up the empty sections with bodies of water that we are familiar with in the present day. However, there seems to be a large amount of water present in several areas on this ancient map that isn't there in modern times. The most notable additions to the map are the rivers that encompass the Great Plateau, which spread out and connect to other nearby streams. And then there's the gigantic pool of water that sits right in the middle of Hyrule Field. In present day times, if you were to investigate these locations, you wouldn't be able to tell that these bodies of water ever existed, as no evidence of them remains. So what does that tell us? Well, I believe the answers we seek lie within the history of Zora's domain. Upon one of the Zoran stone monuments in Breath of the Wild, King Dorephan recounts the story of the mysterious condition that once plagued the entire region. Every 10 years, Lanayru would receive unusually heavy rainfall that would flood the river leading out of the domain. This event would not only devastate Zora's domain, but the kingdom of Hyrule as well. The massive overabundance of water endlessly flowing into the kingdom created new bodies of water, which we now know accumulated in Hyrule Field and around the Great Plateau. This ancient map of Hyrule seems to accurately depict and reflect the aftermath of this unfortunate occurrence. It's extremely difficult to tell if this same exact issue can be seen in the very few and brief instances we get to see ancient Hyrule ourselves in the memory cutscenes, but at least now we have some form of confirmation that this did indeed happen at some point in Tears of the Kingdom's distant past. In response to the dangerous flooding, the Zora King reached out to the King of Hyrule in the hopes that the two of them could collaborate in putting a stop to it once and for all. Together with the architectural genius of the Zora and the technological prowess of the Hylians, the East Reservoir Lake was swiftly built. The beauty of this structure is just as immaculate as Zora's domain, but nothing about the reservoir really made you think that it was high-tech just simply by looking at it. After Tears of the Kingdom released, we were given the opportunity to dive into the interior of the reservoir itself, which revealed to us just how technologically impressive it really is. The ancient Zoran Waterworks is a giant underground aqueduct system that filters the collected water above and carefully supplies the rest of Hyrule with clean, fresh water. This system is said to have been built 10,000 years ago, shortly after Zora's domain was built, which tells us that the ancient map of Hyrule that we see in the Forgotten Temple is a depiction of Hyrule that predates the construction of the reservoir. It's discoveries like this that really makes you wonder just how different life used to be for the various civilizations that once inhabited these lands. I just hope that they were able to make the best of it, since having a lake show up in front of their castle every 10 years could become pretty annoying after a while, but at least you wouldn't have to go very far for a pretty good fishing spot. A huge thank you goes out to my Heroes Shade tier YouTube members Florian, Jonsey G, SwaggMasta, and Dr. Marbel. You are all Bonafide legends. If you haven't already, please consider becoming a member and supporting the creation of more sponsorship-free content. It really does help a lot. I made sure to set the prices as low as I possibly could for each tier to make it as painless as possible to join. I would very much prefer to rely on membership funding from the people who actually enjoy my content rather than accepting annoying and intrusive sponsorship deals that disrupt the flow of my videos in order to support this channel. So if you're able to join and help make that a reality, I would be immeasurably grateful for any and all contributions. Seriously, it would be very much appreciated. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed yourself, there is much more to come in the future, so please subscribe and stick around for another bite of Zelda lore from Gossip Geist.
Hey!